Fox News is back at it again with the never-ending holy war. I mean, culture war that they just won't give up. Now, a recent senator has been elected by the name of Lauren Boebert, I believe, or Boebert. I don't know. She's a senator from Colorado who's been elected. She's a GOP senator, and she did an ad recently about how she'll be carrying her firearm in D.C., which I'm like, okay, I guess, conservatives love stuff like that. So yeah, sure, carry your firearm, fine. Well, Fox decided to bring her on to do an interview, and watch this interview and look how there's absolutely no substance to it at all.
A newly sworn-in Congresswoman going viral with an ad explaining why she's carrying her gun to her new job on Capitol Hill.
Even though I now work in one of the most liberal cities in America, I refuse to give up my rights. I will carry my firearm in D.C. and in Congress.
And that Congresswoman, Lauren Boebert of Colorado, joins us right now. Congresswoman, are you surprised by the uproar of your goal to carry this gun to the Capitol?
You know, it's very interesting that here in the United States of America that there is so much controversy over our Second Amendment rights. It's right there in our Constitution. It's an amendment to our Constitution, and there's an absolute uproar over people wanting to defend myself. I mean, come on, I'm 5'0", 100 pounds. I am now in one of the most dangerous cities in America. The violent crime rate here is 158% times higher than the national average. I will be walking alone a lot. Just like I say in my ad, being a member of Congress is pretty basic. I don't go to work in an armored vehicle. I don't have personal police escorts. I am my own security here, and my most basic right is the right to defend myself.
Surely, and while D.C. may have a violence problem, no doubt about it, they also have a lot, as you know, Congresswoman, very strict gun laws on the books there. And yesterday, the Metro Police Chief, Robert Conti, had an observation about you wanting to take your gun to work. Listen to this.
We plan to reach out to the Congresswoman's office to make sure that she is aware of what the laws of the District of Columbia are, what the restrictions are, and that Congresswoman, whoever it is, I guess it was from Colorado, will be subjected to the same penalties for anyone else that's caught on the District of Columbia street carrying a firearm.
I think that's very interesting. Yesterday was the newly appointed chief of police very first day on the job. He was just appointed on Saturday, and that's his first order of business, is to come after a 34-year-old woman who wants to protect herself in this dangerous city here at our nation's capital. And I think it's very interesting that he wants to ensure that I understand Washington, D.C.'s firearm laws. Maybe I should make a video announcing that I plan to drive a car in Washington, D.C. And then the chief of police will say that he's going to inform me of Washington, D.C.'s traffic laws. Is this what he does to everyone who comes into the District of Columbia, inform each and every person of their laws? I don't think so.
So I wanted to ask you about a topic that we just covered in the last block about, or 2 blocks ago, about Nancy Pelosi. You talked about the chief of police. That was his first agenda. Her first agenda was changing some of the words to gender-neutral words, gender-neutral terms, like mother. You're a mother. You said you're a mother of 4. We called you a congresswoman. Are you proud to be a congresswoman, or should we call you a congress member?
I am very proud to be a congresswoman, and even Speaker Nancy Pelosi referred to herself as a mother on the House floor just a couple of days ago. So in typical Speaker Nancy Pelosi fashion, she's not adhering to her own rules.
Yeah, so by the way, though, just to show up there, people listening on the radio, it is absolutely comical, but it's your new reality. You don't say mother or father, you don't say aunt and uncle. You have to make everything gender neutral, so that's her focus.
Parent and parent siblings.
Oh, my goodness.
But we can say amen and a woman, even though amen has nothing to do with gender. It means so be it. But what about a children? Where are the children in this? Aren't they included?
No, I don't think so. We're going to work on that a little bit later. Let's talk about something else that's going to be happening tomorrow, and that is you're going to join over 100 Congress people, Congress members,
Congressmen
and men and women, and you're going to object to the Electoral College results. Is that Colorado's results or the overall total?
No, I am rejecting to certain states that did not behave properly, that did not follow their own state constitutions. And Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 in the federal constitution lines out that states need to follow these their own state constitutions. And we have rogue secretaries of state, attorneys generals, governors who have gone against the Republican state legislatures. Democrats just went around these state legislatures and changed these states' laws. So there are certain states that I will object to, and that is my obligation. I swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. So when we count these electoral votes, I will not be accepting the counting of states that did not follow their state constitution, which in turn made it unconstitutional in total.
Which states are those?
There are several. There are at least 6 that I am objecting to.
Okay.
We're looking at Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada.
All right.
Okay, so first of all, a couple things here. And believe it or not, I'm going to be criticizing Democrats and Republicans in this video. But mostly Republicans, because Fox did the interview. You know, they put themselves out there. Hey, it is what it is. So, number one. Okay, you're carrying your firearm. That's totally fine. There are Republicans and Democrats who carry their firearm when they're in D.C. and when they're in Congress. I have no problem with that. That is your amendment right. You can do that. However, why are you making a big stink about it? Like, what is the point of this? It's like you're going to a liberal place, as you know, and you're going out of your way to say, I'm carrying my gun. Yeah. It's like you're running ads about it in D.C. It's like, you know, you're rubbing it in people's face. Now, look, you have the freedom to do it. I don't care. But whenever people want to say use gender-neutral pronouns or, you know, anything like that, which I think those things are equally silly. Not that the pronouns themselves are silly, but like the demand for everyone to put their pronouns in their Instagram bio, for instance. I think that's silly. But whenever people want to do things like that, what does the right say? Oh, you're going out of your way to push your views on me. But now you're doing it with your guns. And you're running these ads. Even though I'm in a liberal city, D.C., I still have my gun. All of a sudden, that's just, oh yeah, I just have my rights. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show you how ridiculous the culture war is. And one side's always saying the other side's rubbing their views in their face. And in the end, you know, everyone is completely silly. But, all right, so beyond that, let's get more into the nitty-gritty. So she says that she's carrying her firearm. Now, where I'm going to criticize, you know, the Democratic establishment is the D.C. guy who said, I want to make sure she knows that she has to follow the law like everybody else. Okay, why are you assuming that she's not following the law? I don't understand. I mean, you know, I do understand because a lot of libertarians, Republicans, and far-right Republicans do feel as though they should be able to do whatever with guns. So that's a fair assessment, but I don't know why he went out of his way to mention her in the press conference, and I don't think that was appropriate. I do not think that was appropriate. You know, of course, like I said, freedom of speech. He can say whatever he wants, but I don't think what he said was appropriate. You know, and her point when she said, oh, driving a car, like, is he going to hit me up and say, I'm going to make sure you're following the laws of the road? That actually was a good point. You know, it did make a lot of sense. And it did seem like he singled her out. And, you know, that was wrong and that was, quite frankly, dumb. You know, he should not have done that. Now, what else did they jump to? They jumped to Nancy Pelosi and pronouns. Yes, of course. All right, so this is dumb on all sides. First of all, why are you concerned about what pronouns people are using? And you're like, oh, they passed these rules. Oh, man, kids? What about the children? Kids, you can't say auntie and uncle. You have to say parent, sibling. Yeah, this is terrible. Like, who cares? Like, who cares about this shit? Honestly, no one gives a shit At the end of the day, like, you guys think the culture war is so important that here you are, you're getting upset because people want to use gender neutral pronouns. Who cares? I don't care. The majority of people don't care. The people who care about this are actually a very, 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 very small group. And, you know, and that goes for Pelosi and them too. Why are you doing your virtue signaling? Why are you doing this? Are we going to use the gender neutral pronoun? No one cares. No one cares about the pronouns. No one cares what you call them. No one cares if you say mother, father, or parent. What we care about is the fucking legislation. Why are you guys focused so much on the culture war and you give outlets like Fox News the fuel that they need to say, see, these guys are culture war. And you make all of the left, and not just all of the left, but all of the Democratic establishment, period, look like idiots. So, there's that. Now, also, them focusing on that and being like, one of Nancy Pelosi's, her agenda was changing the pronouns. Oh, this is terrible. Oh my God. We have to say, we can't say gender anymore. Oh, politically correctness is going crazy in this country. This is the biggest issue on the planet. Why are you even covering this? This has nothing to do with why you called her on to interview her, which was the gun thing. It just goes to show you Fox only cares about the culture war. They think that's the most important thing on the planet. If Fox is not calling people socialists and communists every day, they're talking about the culture war. Like, there's nothing substantive in the culture war whatsoever. This does not mean, and look, for those of you who are on the left, this does not mean that we should not fight for equality for everyone. This does not mean that it's okay to, like, disrespect someone by calling them Steve when they want to be called Sierra or whatever. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you're not going to get everyone to agree with you on these things, so who cares? And on the people on the right, I'm not saying that they don't legitimately care about abortion and think it's murder and want it to stop or anything like that. But when you talk about these cultural issues that in the grand scheme don't matter and don't affect every person's everyday life, you know, you're wasting your time. You're just creating an echo chamber for whatever side you're on. And, you know, this happens to be on the side of Fox News. So that's ridiculous. Now, the third thing, they asked her about the election, and she said that she plans to object to 5 states. Basically, she didn't say she planned to object to Biden being the president. If you know this, she said she planned to object to 5 states. But those 5 states would have made Trump the president if he had won them, but he lost them. So she plans to object, saying they violated their own state's constitutions. But then she later on admits that they changed their laws, their election laws. So which one is it? Did they amend their laws or did they violate their laws? See, this is ridiculous. You know, they love to bring these people on who act like Trump has a chance in hell at winning the election when he does not. He has no chance. Zero. Zilch. And these proceedings, by the way, I said in the video yesterday, people think President Mike, Vice President Mike Pence or President of the Senate Mike Pence can just give the election to whoever he wants. That's not how this works. This whole procedure of counting the votes is a formality anyway. It doesn't technically have any legal standing. So, like, all this is just grandstanding and it's all for show. You know, it's fake. The Electoral College voted. It's done. The election is over. And every time these people move the goalposts to say, well, I object because the Electoral College hasn't voted, then they vote. Well, I object because this isn't real. It's like, just stop. Stop covering this. Stop covering this shit. Stop bringing these people on your network and talking about this shit as if it's going to change something. It's not. It's done. It's over. You guys should be focused on 2024, and you should be focusing on how to get back the voter base that you pissed off when you dissented from Trump for 2 seconds, and now you guys are trying to go back to Trump. Okay? So, it's utterly ridiculous. But then again, Fox standards for Fox are very low at this point. There are very few. They're worse than Fox, but not by much. Okay. So, that's that. So, yeah, but in short, I just want to encourage you, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, Don't fall for the culture war. Please, please do not do it. Don't do it. The culture war will kill us all. And it makes each side look silly. And right now you're looking at the Republican outlet looking stupid and silly. But when MSNBC and CNN does these type of segments with people who are Democrats, they look equally as stupid, okay? Equally as stupid. Let's stop focusing on dumb stuff that does not matter, that does not affect the person's daily life, and let's talk about the real issues that could affect change in this country. Because if we continue to be divided over cultural bullshit and we continue to culturally war instead of actually addressing issues that American people care about, like healthcare and job security and things of that nature, then this country will continue to erode and fall apart. And if you think that Donald Trump was the problem, he's not. He was a symptom of the problem. And he was a wake-up call, hopefully, for a lot of people. But he's not the problem. The problem goes beyond Trump. The problem is just partisanship in general. And the culture war and identity politics, which is funny because, ironically, the Republicans here on this Fox network are playing identity politics too. Because she's like, oh, you can't say this name, but you can say this one. But then she says, I don't know why he's attacking me. I'm a woman. I'm 5 foot. So I should be able, I need to protect myself. I'm a female in this dangerous city. It's like, you're talking about being, you're playing identity politics too. Everyone's doing it. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, even like far-right outlets like The Blaze and One American News, Newsmax, they're all doing it. They're all playing identity politics. Just identity politics needs to go away. Like, can we cancel identity politics for 2021? Like, this stuff makes me nauseate, man. It makes me want to throw up in my mouth.